Okay, so I'm Brendan. I'm from the US, but I've been teaching in Malaysia for the last 5 years. I know Lizzie because I'm her ex-boyfriend, and this is my wife.
My name is Hanis. I'm from Malaysia. I used to be a tutor, but I'm a homemaker now. I know Lizzie because apparently you guys used to date.
Well, since the 18th of March, the country has been on lockdown. So no one has been allowed to go out except for essential workers, except for to like go to the grocery store, that kind of thing. And only the head of the family is allowed to go out.
Which is misogynistic.
Yeah, so basically one person from the household is allowed to go out to the grocery store.
What counts as the head of the family?
I assume the man?
The man, which is misogynistic because I'm gonna curse, they fucked up everything because they buy the wrong things because most of them they don't know things. So my Facebook post or Facebook page is full of wife complaining like, look, he bought the wrong thing, la 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 la, and then they can't go out. So yeah, which is sad because recently there's a case where a single mother, she went out to buy groceries. She bought two of her little kids, and she got would you call it punished? I think like she got stopped by the police and she has to go to jail because they say like, oh, you are not following the rules of lockdown. You should not be like, you should only be allowed out like one.
The current government?
Yeah.
Right wing?
So the right wing ministers, they went out and about. They're having like dinners at their friend's house. They're having like
And
restaurants, and because people keep saying like, oh, what about these people? Okay, we're just gonna like fine them for 1,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
But the poor, they can't. Like I remember also one case where this family, they went to clinic. I think maybe like 2 or 3 people in a car. They also have to go to jail because, again, you're not following the rules. And also poor people who carpool also have to go to the jail because they're not following the rules. So which is really sad and unfair. We're really scared of authorities. And also, I don't know why the police in the US are not very aggressive. Like, oh, police here, oh, they're very aggressive. They yell at you, and then we're scared, and then we run away, and then we go home. We would never ever disrespect the police. It's just not a nation. It's not a nation thing. We're scared of the authority, and we don't want to go to jail, and we don't want to be fined. So yeah, better to stay at home, not instead of sleeping in jail and having to pay 1,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shopping malls are unlocked, but all the shops inside are closed. So like if you want to go to a supermarket, the supermarket's usually inside a shopping mall. So like you have to walk through the empty mall to get to the supermarket.
Yeah.
So when you enter the mall, they have the security guards there who take your temperature and like spray your hands with hand sanitizer before you can enter.
And force you to wear mask. If you don't wear mask, you cannot enter. Which is sad because I think I remember the first 2 weeks, all face masks was sold out. So can you imagine these old people who live alone or these poor people who didn't manage to buy face masks, they cannot go in. Also, it contributes to major pollution because, you know, people are not caring about this thing anymore. And they buy a lot of masks and then they throw it everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Although there's much less driving, so.
Which is good. Yeah.
Like it does, the air definitely looks cleaner. We first heard about it in China. I wasn't that worried at the time because I was like, oh, I remember when SARS happened and like it didn't really affect me in America. So I was like, it probably won't be a big deal, but I'll keep an eye on it in case it spreads here. But until then, nothing really to worry about. But a lot of people were really worried just when we first heard about it. You saw people that start wearing masks immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas like last September or October when we had horrible air pollution from all the fires in Indonesia. Like there are a few days where you could only see maybe 200 meters at the most. And and as people were out, like partying in the streets, no masks or anything. People did not care at all. So it's been sort of interesting to me, like what things people do and don't worry about. So like if you say, no, you can't smoke in a restaurant, people will not follow that rule. If you say, oh, pollution, that'll give you Alzheimer's, people will say, I don't care. But if you say, oh, there's a virus, people take that really seriously. So
yeah, I guess he's right because he's an outsider. But I was surprised that he actually didn't care about the virus, because when we first heard about the virus, even though there's no outbreak in Malaysia, people already start wearing masks, and my workplace already start like spraying sanitizers, like cleaning religiously.
Because it was in China at the time, I didn't see any reason to panic yet until there were sort of signs of it in Malaysia. So.
Of course, there's reason to be panicked. There's Chinese everywhere in Kuala Lumpur. Hello.
Okay, but again, just they were, screening people coming off of planes and stuff at the time. So,
when did they start screening people when they arrived?
Like immediately, basically. That was the only measure they took. Basically, they screened you on arrival in the airport. If you had any symptoms, they put you in quarantine.
Yeah.
Again, that was before we knew that it took 2 weeks to develop symptoms, and you can infect people during that time, or even be asymptomatic the whole period and infect people. So at the time, that seemed like an adequate measure.
So the first cluster is from the Islamic what do you call that?
It was like a big prayer congregation, I guess.
Yeah, that's the
so
word.
like they had 16,000, 17,000
17,000 from all around the world. They come and like gather, and that's how the virus started to spike up.
Yeah, so there were like there was like 8 people in quarantine for the first like month or two. And then in February, there was this big international gathering where they had, again, something like 17,000 people for this Muslim prayer meeting. And then people from China and South Korea.
Yep.
And so then the virus spread heavily there, and a lot of them refused to come in and get testing, kind of like the situation in South Korea with the church.
Good news, they actually went, and apparently they're really nice. So.
Yeah. So that led to a lot of spread of the disease.
And the second cluster is these rich people who actually went to Italy, and they refused to admit it, and they went to church and spread it in Sarawak. And
would they have been punished, or were they just arrogant?
The second one, that's just how these people are.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get punished.
Well,
they just refuse.
They would have to get tested, and then if they tested positive, they'd have to go through quarantine, I guess.
Which
so
they
didn't
don't
want to do that. So
Yeah.
it was like, it's probably fine. Right when the outbreak was starting, there was sort of like almost a coup, I guess, where the opposition party managed to take power in the government without an election, do a bunch of like backroom deals, basically. And the opposition party has some people whose credentials to be in their position are very questionable, basically.
Yeah, thank you for putting it that way.
Yeah, so there's like, when the outbreak started, they're all trying to do these photo ops. So like the new Minister of Health is trying to like explain how to put on a face mask, but he has no idea how to do it. And so,
my God,
to try to
I
explain
remember
to him on
that.
live TV how to put it on.
Oh, I'm so
And then
embarrassed.
there's like the Minister of something, the one who was doing the exercise.
Oh yeah, Ministry of Young People. What do you call it?
Yeah. So it's this old man who's a Minister of Youth.
Youth, yeah.
And so he's trying to like show people how to do exercise at home during the quarantine, which is a nice idea. But then like he does like a couple push-ups and then like is obviously extremely out of breath afterwards.
Because he's old, he's 50.
Well, yeah, right. He's like an old man with like a beer belly and stuff. So like it doesn't look like something that he actually does on his own.
Yeah.
And I mean that's fairly harmless. Like at least he's trying to do something nice, but it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence when you keep having these government figures doing things like that, or like just like doing photo ops in hospitals. And you're like, why are you there? Isn't there a quarantine? Shouldn't you be like at home? Like there's no reason to be in the hospital.
And ironically, this is a Ministry of Housing. What are you doing in a hospital?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, so that was the minister of women or something who
Yeah.
did that, who was saying that women have to like speak like Doraemon to their husbands.
Yeah, in order not to irritate their husband, so that everything you say sounds funny, and in that way your husband won't beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And also to wear makeup and wear like working clothes, working from home for no reason. Malaysia.
And how like the churches and the mosques and everything? Because like I see in the US, a lot of the time the like pastors in the big churches are not taking it seriously and they want to keep holding services. Did a similar thing happen, or did they take it seriously?
Yeah, they take it seriously, but they keep blaming it on the LGBT community, saying like this is all your fault, and now God is punishing us. So there's more hate towards the LGBT community now, which is sad because
Is
I'm
there
pretty
a
sure
visible
they were the one who ate porcupine, ate the soup,
bat,
the
yeah.
bat soup. Yeah, but you can see, oh look, God is punishing us because of all this sinful activity that you've done. So now we can't pray in the mosque anymore. And I'm like, it's not like you always go to the mosque at the first place. Yeah, but of course, these religious fanatics will always find, even if you're not religious fanatic, you're just conservative, you just keep looking for things to blame things. And also the Chinese, Malaysian Chinese are also being heavily, what do you call, critique? I want to say the word critique.
Criticized.
Criticize, yeah. Like even though they're not China Chinese, they're Malaysian Chinese, but people also feel like, hey, like, I want to stay away from you.
Is there like a very visible LGBT community in Malaysia, or
It's invisible.
Like how open is the LGBT community here?
On Twitter, the LGBT community are all actually okay. I actually joined like my friend likes to invite me to like a poetry night, and actually there's a lot of LGBT community because they are more young people.
So, say tomorrow you think you've got the virus, what would you do?
My sister works in a hospital. She did say like, please don't come here when you just have like a single cough or a single sneeze, because the hospital is overflow with people. So maybe when you get that even when you get like really high fever, so I'm not sure when to go. I guess when you feel really like suffocated, like when you can't breathe, maybe that's time to go.
Yeah, so it's for the like government hospitals. Like a few weeks ago, I went to a private hospital for like an unrelated thing, and they were doing a drive-through testing there, but you have to pay. So it's 600 ringgit, I think. If you want. Yeah, so you can get tested if you like want, but then it costs money. So if you go to the government hospital to get tested for free, you need to have like, I guess, substantial symptoms.
Symptom. Yeah.
And but the drive-through one is just like if you can pay for it, you can get the test.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and like how accessible is that for people?
600 or 600 ringgit. How much is it?
Well, the average salary in KL for people is what, like 2,000 or something. So it's pretty substantial. Especially since a lot of people now are on reduced pay or no pay. So I think it's probably more something just for the wealthier segment of society.
So if you are single and your salary is less than, how many ringgit? Less than 2,000, you get 800. If you are single and your salary is more than 2,000, you get 600. If you are married and then your wife and the husband's salary, let's say, must be more than 4,000 but less than 8,000. How to say it? More than 4,000 but less than 8,000, you get 1,200. If you're married and combined salary is under 2,000, you get 1,400 or something. Yeah, but I don't know what is in pounds. So the new prime minister, he has a really good, what do you call this, writer?
Script writer?
Script writer.
Speech writer.
Speech writer. So he used he talked like the commoner, and he's updated with, Facebook situation. Like right now, the most trending one is like, if you fail to cook anything, you post on this Facebook group. And apparently he knows about that. He say like, oh, it's okay, just stay at home and cook. If it's not well, then you can post it on Facebook. And then he will use like example that using like a normal people situation. Let's say you're just like how to say, like goreng pisang. You just like stall worker, and then he used simple language that people understand. And yeah, but so people like him, but of course he actually he's not actually very helpful. Yeah, to be honest, because like a lot more poor people are still struggling. And I heard like the stimulus check is not coming until May. They're gonna start processing it in May. So yeah. So I don't know how they survive in March and April, but I'm pretty sure like a lot of people are starving. And what's sad is the government trying to help these poor people by giving them like 100 worth of grocery. But then when they receive it, they say like, oh, this is only like 35 ringgit worth of groceries. So where's the other money? Where's the other things?
Where's the missing 65 ringgit?
Yeah. And they give you like really non-important thing, like 5 kg of rice. Okay, that's important. Noodle, sweet cracker, tea, coffee, and a packet of sugar, and a packet of oil. That's it, no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
it.
that. So
Yeah.
it's like not.
No canned food.
You wouldn't want to like support your family on that for a month.